my new piece of equipment. It's a GEHL 4840. They made these from 2004 and up. I believe this machine is probably like an 05, maybe an 06. I gotta check the VIN tag and look it up online and actually see what year it is. It's in rough shape. It's my first skid loader I've ever bought, first big piece of equipment. So of course it's gonna be in rough shape. I got about $3,500 into this thing, which isn't a lot of money for what it is. So, you know, don't be too judgmental. This door came off another cab, but I was able to get it off the guy. That's why it's missing everything. I gotta paint it. I gotta add some glass or some plexi over it. And I gotta actually attach it. Right now I just got a couple bolts in it, so it's on there. I wanted to make sure it fit right, wasn't bent. The guy I got it from, he'd done all new hydraulic lines. Anything with a rubber hose, all them lines are done. So the front bucket cylinders, the lift cylinders are done for the boom. All them hydraulic lines are done. It's got newer tires on it. They're almost brand new. The thing is very quiet when you move front, back. It's very smooth. The pumps and the wheel motors feel like they're very good, you know, very smooth and very good shape. The boom raises and lifts, does multiple functions at once very smoothly. That's good. Yesterday I worked on this. I just got this yesterday. Yesterday I worked on it all day. The blower motor didn't work. I fixed that. I was gonna have the camera on for all that, but I didn't have the camera on because I just kind of wanted to get to know the machine. Getting a new piece of equipment is kind of like getting a new girlfriend. You know, you don't know nothing about her yet. You don't know her quirks. You don't know her ins and outs. You don't know what she likes and what she doesn't like. So this piece of equipment, I just kind of want to go through it by myself, kind of learn it a little bit, figure out, you know, what harnesses do what and what parts of the engine do what, that kind of thing, and just kind of get a good figure on it by myself so I can kind of learn it a little bit. And now I feel like I got a pretty good understanding of how things work on this thing and what goes where and that kind of thing. But yeah, yesterday what I did was I put the door on, test fitted it. I got the, I blew out the cabin air filter and the air filter for the blower motor. I blew them out because they were filthy. Eventually I'm just going to order new filters. The blower motor didn't work. I had to hook up the power and ground. I had a short in it. Well, the wire actually came off because it wasn't shorted, it came off. So I had to reconnect the power and ground. Got that all set up, made sure all the lights and stuff worked inside the cab. Basically tested it all out, made sure everything else worked. I had to charge the battery. It'd been sitting a while. The guy said it's got a newer battery in it, so I did. It does seem like a pretty decent battery, but it sat, so it was low. So I charged it up all day long yesterday, and I left the battery tender on it tonight, or last night, and I left it on all day again today, and it started right up. This has got a Dutz 4-cylinder diesel engine. It's oil cooled. These engines I hear are pretty much bulletproof. They're very, very tough engines, very reliable. There's guys that like them and there's guys that don't like them. I hear guys that say that, you know, the 3 cylinders and whatnot could be problems, but everybody says the 4 cylinders are very, very good. So if anybody knows about these Dutz engines or Dutz or however the hell you say it, if you know about them, post in the comments and let me know what you think about these engines, and if they're problematic, where are they problematic, and, you know, what should I look for? This machine does burn a little bit of oil. But the guy told me, because it sat a while, he said he added some automatic transmission fluid to it, to the engine. He said he added like a quart or two to it. So, and what that does, it's got high detergents in it. So it cleans the engine, scrubs it. And then on top of that, it gets into the bearings and all that. And it cleans the whole engine out. So it's a good thing to do. I mean, it was kind of good that he did that, but he never did change the oil. So, it's got that real thin ATF fluid in there right now. And I believe that that's why it's smoking, at least I hope so. I took the oil cap off the valve cover, and it doesn't seem to have a whole lot of blow by. It seems pretty good. So aside from it smoking, and more or less the smoke comes when you first start it up. But it does continue to blow like a, even after it's warm, it's kind of like a bluish smoke, like it's burning oil, but it's very faint. It's not like real white. I mean, you can see it's running right now. I'll show you what I mean. I don't even know if you can see it on camera. Kind of see it on camera. It's very, see a little puff cloud here. Very, very small. You could smell, it kind of smells like oil. So I hope it's not a head gasket. I hope it's nothing serious. I hope it's just the oil that he's got in it right now is just too thin and getting up past the rings and burning off. So I'm gonna drain it all today, and I'm gonna add fresh oil to it with a fresh filter. He said he hasn't changed it. I'm also gonna do the hydraulic oil filter and add new hydraulic oil. He did say since he added all the lines, the hydraulic oil was new, but the filter was not. So I'm gonna just take the filter off, put a new filter on, and top it off with fluid. So that, the oil, engine oil and filter. And then I also got some Lucas diesel injector treatment, because it's another reason it may be smoking is because the injectors may be clogged up. So I want to throw some of that Lucas in there, and I'll go over that with you guys in there. But yeah, anyway, as you can see, the kid started painting it, which I really hate that he did that, because it looks terrible. He did a terrible job on it. So I think what I'm going to do is try to match that color down there the best I can, and just go over what he did and just kind of blend it in, because I don't really feel like painting this whole machine if I don't have to. But before I paint it, I'm going to get it all mechanically sound, and then after it's mechanically sound, I'm going to pressure wash it because it's filthy. The rims are filthy. The rims aren't actually in bad shape. You can see they're actually not in that bad of shape. They're just filthy. So I'm going to give it a good bath, wash it up real good, see what I'm left with, and then I'm going to paint these boom arms, because I can't stand the way it looks. It just looks like shit. He did a terrible job. I even told him that. I said, man, you did a terrible job. So anyway, this is my skid loader. So here's the back. It does got a cab in it. It's a full heated cab. And I'll bring you guys inside the cab now. Door don't have any seals on it yet. I got to put seals on it. I got to put some glass in it. I got to figure out a door lock for it. But the heat does work. Like I said, I got the blower motor working yesterday. Park brake, put this down. Lap bar. Park brake works. All the lights work. Gauges, I'm going to have to do a couple gauges. This is the oil temp gauge. Since this is oil cooled, got an oil cooled engine. It's got an oil temp gauge instead of a water temp gauge. So I got to go buy one of them. This is the fuel gauge for the sending unit. All the wires are here. I already tested it with an ohm meter yesterday. They do work, and it's showing about 60 ohms, or 0.60, however you want to say it. And which means it's about just over half a tank, which is exactly what's in there because I checked it. So them are working. The sending unit's good. I just got to get a new gauge for it. The hour meter is working as well, so that's good. So all I got to do is get a fuel gauge for it and an oil temp gauge. And the temp gauge, I did test that, and it's just bad. It's just got a bad gauge. So I'll be all set there. It's got a hand throttle, or a foot throttle here. It's also got a hand throttle. Okay, it's got, this is your loader right here. Works nice and smooth. Okay, and this is how you move. This is all your movement. Forward is forward, backwards is backwards. You turn it this way to go left, you turn it this way to go right. Okay, so it's a twist of your hand. Same with the loader. This is boom up, this is boom down. You got float, this is all the way down. And then if you want to curl and dump, you twist. So it's kind of neat. It's real easy to use. I hate the foot controls for a loader. I don't like that. I think it's annoying. Down here is your auxiliary, for your auxiliary hydraulics. So you got one direction, your other direction. If you want to lock your flow, you push the pedal, and I believe you lift this up and lock the pedal to engage it. So say you're running like a hydraulic brush hog or something like that, stump grinder, you just move this up and you lock it. I sprayed it, the pedal's frozen, and I'm not sure if the cable is frozen going to the output. So I sprayed it last night to let it soak. I'm going to have to get a hammer and try to tap on this to get it freed up. Because obviously the guy before me never used it, so it seized up. So I'm going to see if I can free this pedal up. That's another thing I want to do really soon, because I want to test these auxiliary hydraulics. Because that would be a big plus if they work. new seat in it too. Not a fan of camouflage, but what can you do? At least it's new. The rest of the cab is all there. It needs a good scrub and a good cleaning. The heater works, heat blows hot. Oh, and one other thing. It's missing the hand grips. It's missing the grips on each side. I think they broke, the guy took them off. And basically what those are gonna give you is like your horn. You can have like your lighting on there, your auxiliary, for your auxiliary hydraulics, there's buttons on there for that. And then your high and low range. So right now this is stuck in low range, it's a 2-speed. And I can't change it because I don't have the remote. So once I get the remotes, I'll be able to do more. So I looked them up online, they're not too bad. They're like 120 bucks a piece or 100 bucks a piece. So I gotta get them and wire them in. The wires are there. But that's one of the biggest things that I gotta do. The most costly, I should say. Aside from that, it's not too bad. The rest is just cosmetics. The lights do work up top, they're halogens. That's about it. It's got the rear ballast bumper, which is nice. It adds like 300 pounds or 280 pounds to the rear, so that's nice. Gives you a little more lift capacity. This is your fuel tank. This is your hydraulic tank. Okay, that feeds both your loader functions and your wheel motors. Okay, now let me take you guys in the shed and I'll show you what I got for this thing. Okay, so the first thing in store for this new skid steer, oil change, oil filter. So engine oil filter, engine oil. I got Rotella 1540, best oil out there in my opinion for diesel engines, and Napa Gold filter. Okay. Next on our list, hydraulic oil filter and a top off of the hydraulic fluids. Okay, I actually called GEHL, the company, talked to a service guy. I asked him, what should I be running for oil? I told him what it says in the manual. He goes, the Napa Premium Oil. He goes, that's fine. If you want to run Napa Premium Oil, he goes, that'll be no problem at all. Or you could just run regular hydraulic fluid. He goes, it's up to you. I like this because you got better, results for cavitation. You won't have, the air bubbles and that kind of thing for the transmissions. So I went with this because it's a transmission fluid as well as a hydraulic fluid. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds for a skid steer in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to try. And he said I should be fine with that. Napa Gold filter again. Okay, and last on the list, I'm going to add this Lucas injector cleaner and fuel conditioner to the fuel. I got a new fuel filter for it because he has no idea when it was changed last. I got a fuel filter. This is a secondary filter or maybe a primary. I think this goes right after the tank. It's just a small inline filter. I believe this goes right after the tank, basically where the fuel line connects to the tank. Okay, and then you got your main fuel filter, which is just it's a normal spin-on filter. Okay, after that, I bought the Seafoam because it was on sale. I'm probably not going to put it in since I'm putting this Lucas in there, but if this don't end up maybe changing anything, maybe I'll try this instead. It was on sale for $7, so I figured I'd buy it. And last but not least, I got this engine restore and lubricant. It says 4-cylinder formula, restore compression, restore horsepower, restore engine life, reduces oil consumption, which is what's happening to this machine. So hopefully if I put this in there on top of the Lucas and its fuel, change the fuel filter out, change the engine oil with Rotella, change the engine oil filter, hopefully that'll get this thing back on track and it won't be blowing smoke and burning a little bit of oil that it burns. So, like I said, I got $3,500 into this thing. I don't think I can lose. The wheel motors I seen on eBay alone are going for like $2,200 to $2,700 each. The pumps are like another $4,800 each. There's two of them. One for the hydraulic, the boom and the bucket cylinders, and one for the transmissions. So yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, and lastly, got my paint for the door so I can prime and paint my door. I got primer already. I'm going to prime it, paint it, and then I'm going to put some weather stripping around it. And I haven't decided if I'm going to pay a company to make a piece of glass for me or if I'm going to just, for now, buy a piece of plexiglass, put some Velcro on it, and stick it to the outside of the door for now, just so it's enclosed. The side cage windows are open as well, so I'm going to use plexiglass for that, obviously. And I'll probably drill through the plexi, and then I'll put plastic wing nuts through the cage holes, where they actually, that's what they're meant for the plexi windows or the plastic windows. So I will drill holes through the plexiglass, use those existing holes, and then I will use plastic wing nuts to go through and tighten them down, and that way it doesn't crack the plexiglass. So that's my plans for right now. There's obviously other stuff to do on it, but it's all cosmetic stuff. It is missing the rear tail lights. It's missing the rear lights in general. There's like rear backup lights, rear tail lights. I got to do some work to the wiring harness, but it's really not too bad. Aside from that, I mean, it's pretty good skid steer. My biggest thing right now is getting it to stop burning oil and stop smoking. So if I can get that to happen, then I got real high hopes for this thing. And aside from that, like I said, it's just cosmetics and small stuff. But I mean, as of right now, the thing is ready to work. It could work right now. So I'm pretty happy with it so far, and start with this stuff and see where it takes me. Okay, so while this engine is warming up, I'm gonna add this Lucas upper cylinder lubricant, injector cleaner, and fuel conditioner. I looked it up. This thing's got about a 15-gallon tank. I know it's about half full because when I checked the fuel sending unit with the ohm meter yesterday, it was reading about 60. So I know it's about half full, maybe a little more. So I'm gonna call it like 7 to 8 gallons. This fuel conditioner says 3 ounces for every 10 gallons. I'm just gonna put 3 ounces in it. If it's a little too much, oh well, I don't think it's gonna hurt it. I'd rather have a little too much than too little at this point, just to see what happens. I might as well add the seafoam. I'm not gonna add a lot. It says 1 ounce per every gallon. I'll probably just add 3 ounces to it. Can't hurt anything. Okay, well now that the engine is warm, I'm going to change the engine oil. I hope that I don't have to lift the cab. Let me show you guys something. Currently, the cab does not have the shocks on it. And anybody knows skid steers, anybody that knows skid steers knows that these cabs are very, very heavy. There's gas shocks that's supposed to be from here to the bottom of the chassis and on the other side as well that assist you on lifting this up. So if I have to lift this up, I don't think I'm going to be able to do the oil change tonight, but I'm going to give it a try. If I can reach it from this side, I'm going to do that. And if I can't, see, I would grab the Kubota out and lift this up maybe with the forks or the bucket with a chain. The problem is I'm running out of light, and by the time I do all that, I think it's going to be dark out. So if I can just drain the oil and get to the filter through this way, I'll try it tonight. So let me look in here and see where it's at. I gotta get a light. Okay guys, now that I got a light, trusty snap-on light, it's bright as hell. I can see this appears to be the fuel filter right here. Look how old that looks. God knows when that was changed. You know, I see some maintenance records here. 1900 hours, 33,000 hours. Up here it said something else. If I had to guess, I want to say this thing's probably got, since this is the last record I can see, It's probably got between like 4,000 and 6,000 hours on it. But that's obviously just a guess. The gauge does say 4,000 hours, by the way. It's like 4,300, something like that. So anyway, that's the fuel filter way back there. I think the engine filter is located on the block. Like way, I want to say it's like way back here on the block, on the left side. Let me refer to the manual real quick and I'll see if I can find it in the manual where it's located. If I can get my arm in there and get it cracked loose, then I'll drain the oil real quick, put a new filter on it, throw some oil in it, because I really want to see if this stops smoking or not. After looking at the manual, it says that I had to take off the bottom skid pan to access the oil filter and to allow it to drain. So otherwise, if I pull it off, it's going to just pour all over the pan and I'm going to make a big mess. So being that it's getting very dark out, it looks a lot better on my phone than it is in person. It's getting real dark out. I'm not going to be able to finish this tonight. I'm going to have to drive this up on some blocks so I can get underneath it and get some cardboard down, being that I don't have a garage big enough to put this in. And tomorrow's supposed to be decent weather, so when I get home from work, that's the first thing I'm going to do is fire it up, let it warm up again, and I will drive it up on some blocks, lay underneath it with some cardboard, and take off the pan, drain the oil, unscrew the filter, put a new one on, and put some oil in it, and see what happens. That'll also give that the additive some time in the fuel tank to mix around. And before I go to bed tonight, or before I go in tonight, I'm gonna drive the skidder back and forth and kind of shake it up a little bit, and hopefully that'll mix in by tomorrow and kind of start working its way through the fuel system. But based on what that fuel filter looks like, I mean, you can see right there, it's all rusty. So I know this thing sat a while. The story was that the guy he got it from, the thing sat for a long time, and that's why he put that transmission fluid in the engine, because he didn't even know if it was going to run or if it was seized or what. So the fact that it sat so long, you know, maybe it just needs to be run a little bit and get, you know, everything freed up again, like the piston rings and stuff like that. Besides that, like I said, he did put transmission fluid in it, which is very thin, so I'm sure that oil's thin and leaking past the O-rings and allowing it to burn. So I'll let this stuff sit. I'll shake it up a little bit, run a little longer tonight, see if I can get that stuff worked into the fuel system. I'm going to go in the house, and then tomorrow when I get home from work, I'll drive the skidder up on some bricks, get underneath it, and do the oil change. So all right, guys. We'll try again tomorrow. If you like my video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know what you think about the new skid steer I got for $3,500. I don't think I did too bad. Like I said, it moves, drives, runs good. I mean, the engine runs smooth. The wheel motors are nice and quiet. It doesn't seem to lose any power. I worked with it a little bit. Turns good. Loader works good. Hydraulics are smooth. Pumps aren't noisy. So I got high hopes for it. As long as I can get it to stop burning oil and smoking, I think I'll be all set. And even if I don't, be honest with you, I could probably just keep adding oil to it and drive this thing for another 2,000 hours, because these things are built like tanks. So